here are the things we need for this class. I have these 3 years of crepe fabric, the stripe fabric, then of course my scissors, the hemi gun, we are going to be using it, the bias tape, the chalk, and of course my beautiful tape pro. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this fabric into two equal parts. So let me do that and show you. I've done that, then I fold this is one part of the fabric, so I folded it into two. Can you see? So what I folded here is about 25. Yes, 25. Then the length is 60. The length is okay for me. You can take your own length as well. So we are going to be working on the back first. Right here, I'm going to take the back width neckline, the width of my back, and the depth is 1.25, 3.53 by 1.25. So I just curved it now. Then I'll go ahead and take my measurement for the shoulder, which is 8. My shoulder is 16. So divide by 2 is 8. Then from the nape of my neck, I took my sleeve where I want the sleeve to get to, which is 22 from the nape of my neck. And of course, it means I added 14 inches from this point to this point. I added 14 inches to my shoulder. So just do that to your own as well. Just take your measurements, and right here I'm going to go down by 2 inches. 2 inches for my shoulder slope. Then I'll connect it from the shoulder, from my neck points to the 2 inches I marked earlier for the shoulder slope. Right here I'll take my sleeve opening, which is 11. My sleeve opening from that 2 is 11. I want to take the 22 I took earlier so that it can be equal. So I'll make a straight line around here. I'll connect it from that 2 to the 11 I marked. That is my sleeve opening. So the next thing I'm going to do, I will take my bust line, my bust points, which is 11, from the shoulder, 11. Then I'll take my measurements of bust. The round of my bust is divided by 4 is 10. My bust is 40, divided by 4 is 10. Then I added 3 inches. 3 inches is okay just for the heels around this area, around the bust. 3 inches I added. So from the shoulder again, from the shoulder again, I will take my hip line, which is 25. 25 is okay for every sizes. A bigger sizes can now take 26. Small sizes can use 24, but normal is 25 is okay for every sizes. This is a bubu gown. It doesn't require much measurement. So I'm going to take my hip measurements, which is 44 divided by 4. It is 11 plus 3 inches for his allowance, 3 inches. So I'll mark it right here. That is 14. So after that, I'm going to curve it. I'm going to curve it from the bust, my sleeve. That's my sleeve. I'll curve it a slightly curve. Shouldn't be too sharp. Just curve it to the bust line, the bust measurement that you took earlier. Just curve it around that area down to the hip. I want to add 1 inch to the hip measurement, just to make that place to be more free. So I just added that 1 inch. So I'll curve it around here and make a straight line down to the hem. You know, it's a straight bubu, doesn't have any form of hairline whatever. So I'll mark this straight down to the hem, just like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I want to extend this line, the neck width to be 4. Just I'll blend it up with the 1 and 1.25 that I have on the depth. So I just blended it up. So when I want to cut it now, just add 0.5 to the shoulder for my sewing allowance. I'm not going to cut on the line directly, so I'll just cut on this line I'm marking right now. So that will stand for my sewing allowance. Then I'll cut it this way. So I've done that. This is the front. I will mark 1.5 downward to the hem, 1.5 as a zip allowance. So I'll roll it down. I'll roll it with my ruler, 1.5. Then I'll place the back on it, just the way you are seeing it. This is the front, and I have 1.5 at the front there. So I folded 25 inches like the way I did for the back and unfold. Can you see? So I place the back on the front. The front is underneath. So I will mark the neck depth for the front, which is going to be, this is the width already. It's going to have the same width with the back. So the depth is going to be 4. That means for the front I have 4 by 4. 4 by 4. So I'll just blend it, so I'll curve it for my neckline. 4 by 4 is okay, even for hairy sizes. But for a smaller size, you can do 4 by 3. So this is 1 inch I added earlier. So I'll cut it now. I'll notch this 1.5. Then cut the center front open down to the hemline. As you can see, I'll cut it open. So I've done that. So I'm going to, there is opening at the center front, which is, I'm going to make it 4. The opening is 4. Then from the hem there is an opening as well on the hem. So I'll make that from the hem 23. This is 23 here. So I'm going to sew from this point down, straight down to the 23 I marked earlier, to this point. On the 1.5 I marked earlier, straight down to the 23. I've done that. Then I'll put the hemigum at the underneath it and iron it just to keep it in place and make it more neater. If you don't have hemigum, you can just weave it and use the, what do we call it, use needle and thread to hold it down, to hem it down straight to the hem. So just hem it this way and it will keep it in place and make it more neater. The use of the hemigum is just to keep it in place and make it more beautiful. So I've just done that. Then the next, let me arrange this. The next thing I'm going to do is to use the bias tape to finish up the neckline. That's the next thing we are going to do now. I will use the bias tape this way to sew it on the right side to keep the neck, to make it more neater. So then after that, I'll do the same to the back as well using the bias tape. After that, I will sew the shoulder with 1/2 inch that I added earlier, and the hand as well. I will fold it with 1.5 inches and sew it down. So let me do that and show you. I've done that. Then remain the side. The side I'm going to join it with 1/2 inch down to the hem. I've done that. The next thing is the tricky, I know you'll be wondering how this place is done, the underbust, what makes it to be tightened up. So I will show you the trick now. The trick is behind this rope. So what I'm going to do right now, I'll take the length of my underbust from the shoulder this way. My underbust length is 14.5. 14.5 right there. I'll mark it. So I'll do the same to the other side, 14.5. Then I'll take my underbust measurements, which is 33 divided by 4. I will have 8.25. So the 8.25 is what I'm going to measure from the middle of the front, from the joining, where we joined here, where we joined at this point, where we join, I'll mark 8.25 for my underbust this way plus 1.5 plus 1.5 this way. That is where the rope is going to stay. That's where I'm going to attach the rope, plus 1.5. Then the other side as well, I'll mark 8.25 this way from the joining at the middle, plus 1.5. So I'll attach the rope this way, I'll pin it down, then use the sewing machine to sew it, to stitch it, just to keep it in place. Can you see? So it will go to the back. I'll just tie it around my waist to the back. I'll pin it down as well the other side. Just do it the way I'm doing it, you'll get the same results. So I'll do that and show you the finished look. So this is it. Thank you for watching. Like and share this video and give it a thumbs up. Bye.